booked the restaurant 3 weeks in advance because my son had asked for a place with real tablecloths. He's 8. Lenin still feels magical to him. It wasn't meant to be a production. Just grandparents, my husband, his sister, and her partner. Small table, a chocolate cake, a few balloons tied discreetly to the back of his chair. Wanted him to feel seen without feeling watched. When my sister-in-law walked in, I knew before I counted that something had shifted. She was framed by 3 women I had never met. Heels clicking, laughter already mid-volume, carried the energy of a different kind of night. "Oh, I hope you don't mind," she said, air kissing near my cheek. They were dying to get out, and I told them about this place. I looked at the table, at the reservation card with my name on it. My son, who had paused mid-sip of lemonade, confused but trying to be polite. "It's his birthday," I said gently, not a protest. "Just a reminder." "Yes, of course," she replied brightly, already pulling out a chair. The waiter added 2 extra place settings without asking me. That stung more than I expected. Assumption moves quickly in public spaces. For the first 15 minutes, I tried to let it settle. Maybe it would stay manageable. Maybe they would order modestly. I was overreacting. Then I heard the words, "Caviar service," and "your best vintage champagne." Not asked quietly. Announced. One of the friends leaned toward me. "We're celebrating too, right?" Son was explaining his Lego set to his grandfather while my sister-in-law was asking about bottle years like she was hosting a tasting event. Old reflex: rise, smile, absorb, pay later. Keep the peace. Don't be difficult. My husband stared at the menu like it might rescue him. When the waiter returned, pen poised, he hesitated just slightly. "Shall I add these to the main bill?" It was a small procedural question, neutral, professional, but it opened a door. Raise my voice. I didn't look at her. "Separate checks," I said. The words sounded steadier than I felt. A pause. A thin one. Sister-in-law laughed lightly. "Oh, come on, don't be like that. It's all family." I met the waiter's eyes instead of hers. "The reservation and hosted bill are for my son's birthday. Immediate family only, everything else separate." The waiter nodded. "Of course." He repeated it clearly enough for the table to hear. Champagne and caviar on a separate bill became official in that moment. Not emotional, not personal, just policy. One of her friends shifted in her chair. Another asked quietly about the price of the bottle. The mood adjusted by degrees, air pressure changing before a storm that never quite arrives. My sister-in-law smiled, but it was thinner now. "Well," she said, lifting her glass once it arrived, "we'll make it work." The cake came out right on schedule. Chocolate frosting slightly uneven, exactly as my son had wanted. The staff sang softly. My son beamed. For a few minutes, the table felt aligned again. The champagne remained mostly untouched. When the bills arrived, they were placed deliberately. One folder in front of me, one in front of her. No commentary, no dramatics. She opened hers, glanced inside, and for a split second her expression lost its polish. Then she reached for her card. I signed mine without hurry. I tipped generously. On the way out, she hugged my son and told him it was such a fabulous venue. She did not mention the bill. I did not either. In the parking lot, my husband exhaled like he'd been holding his breath all evening. "You didn't have to do that," he said quietly. "Yes," I replied. The drive home was calm. My son talked about the dessert and how the waiter had lit the candles twice because the first match blew out was what he would remember. Later, my phone buzzed with a message from my sister-in-law. Short, polite, slightly cool. Something about, Next time we'll coordinate better. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. What changed wasn't dramatic. No shouting. No fractured relationships. But something invisible reset the next time she assumes she'll remember that night. And so will I.